Hello, everyone. I'm gonna start painting something really abstract. So I'll be here in my little studio. This is my identity. And why I say so is because I want you to imagine this particular ice cream. Kind of looks like this. I think everyone is familiar with this particular ice cream. It's the rainbow pedal pop ice cream steak. Have you guys heard of it? Tasted it? Yeah. So that's like my favorite ice cream since I was little. And it's kind of like my identity. So you see, it has all these pinks, purples, blues, turquoise. It's a mixture of weird colors. And just like the Pedal Pop ice cream stick, I think it's almost the same like my identity because I feel like finding one's identity is confusing. You're not sure who you are. I mean, you grow up through all these years and you search for your true identity, and then somehow you feel lost. You're not sure who you are. And when I look at this, like these colors, it resonates well with my identity because it is a mixture of all everything that is in your life, the good times, the bad times, different memories, different moments in your life. Um, when you look at colors, it is one thing that drives me to become an artist today is because of colors, and I think it's one of God's greatest creation ever, apart from sight, because for me it's really feminine, the colors, and it's almost alien-like, kind of like drifts me into a different world, a different fantasy away from reality. But at the same time, I have to think about reality because, you can't live in your bubble all the time. My dad likes to say that. I have to be in the real world, I have to exist, be part of society. And that is the part where I find it really hard because, naturally as an artist, you're typically in your studio painting away. You don't care about the world, but, that's not really how reality works. My name is Sophia Kamal, and I'm a Malay Muslim artist in the 21st century. And before I was ever an artist, I am a Malay Muslim woman. And being one, I have to juggle between two sides of myself. One is my spiritual self, and the other is my sense of humanity. And growing up in urban Malaysia, it doesn't really connect together well. And I'm speaking this honestly and personally, in my opinion, in my belief, that it can get really hard, especially, for instance, I'm growing up with MTV in one hand, and on the other hand, I have Islamic classes that tells me this is not right, this is wrong, or this is permissible and this is not permissible. And that's the part where I get all confused, just like the ice cream pedal pop stick. So, you know, I think my artwork circulates around reflections of my identity, where I'm constantly finding the, the connection between modern culture and traditional culture. And I'm inspired by the, the women facial features because it owes plenty of my inspiration by it. I'm I'm completely drawn by the female figure, strong, independent women in Malaysia especially, where I see that we women, we tend to like cover up in like layers and layers of, I don't know, it could be makeup or maybe a hijab or something like that. It's like you're hiding underneath a shell. And when you peel through these shells, you finally see your true essence, your true beauty, meaning, power, self-worth, and responsibility. I'm gonna show you some of my artworks. Okay, so this is one of my painting, as I was saying, about the female figure dissolving in like this mixture of like trying to find amendments about my spiritual self and my identity. So I owe a lot of my inspirations to the female figure, and most of the time I focus on meaningful details of the female characteristics. I render my portraits in modest representation without exploiting their sexual aspects. I try to look at them in a modest way where I focus on true beauty, which is for me is the eyes and facial expressions and sometimes hands. I do have like a lot of hand paintings, but it's not that popular, I guess. So yeah, so most of my paintings depicts a figure dissolving in water. Sometimes it has an element of fire or maybe earth, stuff like that. So it depicts us as an individual with society and also a society to land or to nature. It kind of like shows a fragile connection between us as individuals to society. And this painting is called Milk and Honey. So, you know, I feel like I'm always in the studio, like I'm in my dreamland and sort of like heaven for me. So this painting is kind of like that, like I'm in my dream world, kind of like alien in a sense. But at the same time, you can see from the facial expressions, I'm anxious, I'm worried, I'm scared, I'm confused. So that's the reality part, you know, like I have to be in reality and that's reality to me, where I'm still confused about my identity in religious cultural context, as well as Western perceptions where I grew up with, you know, all these Western films, Western music, and then I have to go home to my families or, you know, friends who are pious and they tell me, you know, that's haram or something like that. Yeah, that's life. So this one is, it shows the fragile connection between us, the society, and land, as I said. And you can see that there's a form of fluidity in my painting, both through Western perceptions and my personal religious convictions. And in this painting, I'm focusing on how a woman's gaze. Okay, so now I'm going to the more Islamic kind of like point of view, where it is said that a woman must gaze down and they shouldn't be flirtatious to men or something like that. And when I paint this, I'm trying to be what I'm expected to be, and it's hard, and I still try my best to fit into society, just to blend in, sublime to, you know, cultural context. But at the same time, I feel like I'm faking it, and but I still do it, for the sake of like, fitting in some way. And that is where it shows like how, the colors, it's bright and striking, and it acts as a metaphor to women's strength. I use this color because for me it's really vibrant and it shows women's strength and power and meaning. And this painting also, I'm talking about the goal, and it represents how, okay, like in Islam, we're expected to perform our prayers, and then we have to cleanse ourselves before we do that, and that's called the wudu. So in this painting, I'm trying to depict a woman, cleaning herself before she meets God, and I think that's beautiful, and I love that idea. So I try to show it in my paintings of how, at the end of the day, when you go back to God itself instead of society telling you what's right and what's wrong, that is where you have your truth, and that is where you find freedom, and you be free for your own self, your own terms, and you're not judged by anyone. So I did this painting back in 2013, I think, when I was still studying in the UK. So after years and years of artistic practicing and, being in the studio most of the time, I I master my skills and artistic concepts, and I became to, grasp my true meaning as an artist, my purpose, and why I'm here as an artist today. And it is to just express my opinions about this thing, because I think if I have a voice, I should just speak what's true to my heart, and that's how I get something out of it, like a purpose in a sense. And without a doubt, being able to speak honestly about my work and how I feel, it kind of brings a lot of like anxiety, to be honest. I suffer from anxiety when I was growing up, especially when I was little, and that's why I kind of like moved into painting in my studio. And the reason why I do that is because it actually nurtures me, and it helps me build confidence and makes me the person that I am today. And I think if it's not because of my painting, I wouldn't even be here, let's be honest. But like, painting really helps me. I feel it deeply, because when I paint each painting, I feel like there lives a kind of spirit in my painting, just telling me what's right and what's wrong, and telling me to be a better version of me myself and get my ideas out. You know, just be myself, and don't be scared to show what you can do. Yeah. And nevertheless, now we're in the 21st century, and women, they no longer suffer from oppression by the male patriarchy as they used to. But women now, I think they have a voice to speak out what they truly feel and find justice, especially to the law. Some laws that are ridiculous, I believe that you can question them, and in vital tones, especially now with this changing society, and everything has become more, I think, open-ended, I think. So, I mean, I just want to ask, are we really equal to men? Um, is there really a thing called freedom of expression? And if it is, like, what does it really do? You know, are we still bound by traditional customs and belief systems? Are we still being objectified as instruments of pleasure to men? So I like to end the talk by saying that truly the eyes is the window to the female soul, and that is where you can find the truth. And you must open your eyes and speak to what's true in your heart, in your soul, and that is where you can find yourself free, being free. How I view the world, how the world view me, and how I view others is how I get my inspirations to keep painting. And it is also the very same influences that has shaped my ideas, my expressions, my emotions, and my identity. Thank you.